Hello everybody, my name is Jacob from the Dry Paint Pot and welcome back to Hobby Mistakes, the show where I make all the mistakes with my models so you don't have to. Now today's episode is going to teach you how to use the best metallic paint on the market, so stick around. Now, part of this video might sound like a rant session on why you shouldn't use Citadel metallics, but the truth is I still use them to this very day. I just want you all to understand the struggles that I've had with them and show you the best metallic paint that I've come across. For the first few years of my miniature painting quest, I exclusively used Citadel paint, and I love this stuff. I use it in all my videos, it's my favorite paint, but not when it comes to painting metal. You see, I always dreaded painting metal because I had such bad luck with Citadel metallics. I mean, first off, Citadel paint is thick, like
dummy thick.
Seriously, they don't flow very well, so each dip of your brush doesn't go very far. Next, they're quite translucent. I mean, I've had a little bit of luck with Brass Scorpion, but most of the time when I'm using Citadel metallics, it takes like 4 to 5 coats to get a decent layer. And the buildup of all these coats will really goop up detail, and that just ruins the model. But as for the end result, they shine pretty well and they look good. I mean, they're not bad. So less than a year ago, a friend introduced me to Vallejo metallic paint, and I can't stop talking this shit up. I mean, first off, this stuff flows forever. With just one dip of your brush, this stuff will flow and flow, and you don't really have to worry about it drying up or not going the distance. Also, one coat is usually all you need, so you don't have to worry about going over and over the same spot and building up unnecessary layers. And the very best part is that it has a wicked shine. It's no joke. Look at the difference between the way Citadel metallics and Vallejo metallics catch light. Vallejo uses real metal pigment in the paint, and we know that because if you use water with this stuff, it'll rust. Now, as awesome as this stuff is, it's definitely harder to use than your standard Citadel metallic paint. So before we get started, we're gonna need some new supplies. You're going to need some synthetic brushes. Buy a cheap new pack because this paint is going to ruin them. Also, be sure to mark the packaging so you don't mix them up with your other brushes. Alcohol paint ruins brushes, so you don't want to mix them. And if you use a brush for water-based paint, you risk rusting your metallic paint. We next need a container and isopropyl alcohol. This paint isn't water-based, so you can't thin your brushes or clean them with water. It's alcohol-based, and Vallejo suggests that you use 96% alcohol. Because alcohol is such a hot commodity right now, all I have is 80%, but it works just fine. And of course, we need Vallejo paint. They make a bunch of different color metallics, but today I'll be using old gold. Instead of using a palette, I like using little mixing cups. If you do use a palette, I suggest getting a cheap one and not using it for any water-based paint. Now let's get painting. So fill your container with a bit of alcohol. We'll use this to thin our paints and wash our brushes, just as we would with water if we were using acrylics. The next step is the most important. Shake the bottle until your arm falls off and then shake it again with your other arm. This is no joke. The metallic pigment in this stuff loves to settle and clump up, and if it's not properly mixed, it won't really work. You see how the metal is still when I tilt the bottle? That means it's all clumped up. If you tilt the bottle and you still see spots that are solid and not moving, you're not done shaking. See how it looks now that I shook the life out of it? That's what we want to see. Once all that's mixed up, you next want to pour some of this into a cup or onto a palette. I used to work with this stuff straight out of the pot, but since it's alcohol based, it would evaporate. This led to my paint pot drying out, hence the name. When this stuff dries, there's really no saving it, so pour it out a bit and screw the lid on tight. Now we need to quickly add a few drops of isopropyl alcohol. This will prolong the paint's drying time and keep it from hardening up on you too quickly. Now, this paint is going to harden your brushes, but don't stress it. Once you dip them into alcohol, they'll bounce right back. Now, make sure everything is thoroughly mixed. We're now ready to throw down some paint. The first layer is always a little thin, but once you dip your brush a few times, everything should work just right. The one thing that you have to watch out for with this stuff is running. The alcohol base loves to run through cracks along surfaces, and to show you what I mean, I'm going to ruin a Reaper Mini. See how the paint likes to spread? You'll want to avoid this by not loading up your brushes too much with paint. A little can really go a long way. And since I already ruined this model, I thought I'd show you how far this stuff can really go. All it takes is one layer, and like I said, it's all set. Now to paint small surfaces and avoid your paint from running, remove a majority of the paint from your brush. Sometimes I even allow some of this paint to dry on the brush, and although it won't go as far, you won't have to worry about it getting anywhere you don't want it to be. Do you see how the paint's clumped up and has a metallic top layer? This indicates that your paint is drying out and clumping. The best thing to do here is add a splash of fresh paint and some alcohol to the mix. Too much alcohol and the pigment will stretch, resulting in thin, transparent layers. While normally you'd slap a wash on your metallic paint, Vallejo Metallic's glossy surface tends to reject wash. What I do to keep the shine and darken the recess is spot wash with Citadel Nuln Oil Gloss. The gloss is important because normal Nuln Oil will add a matte finish to the paint and will kill the shine that you're looking for. Also, Nuln Oil Gloss always leaves recesses darker when compared to its matte counterpart. Although some of you might worry about the paint rusting, I've done this to plenty of models and I haven't had any issues with rust. Maybe it's because I let the paint thoroughly dry, or maybe I've just had good luck, but it's never done me wrong, so I suggest doing it. And there you have it, the best metallic paint on the market. Now, I hope that this tutorial motivates you to give this paint a shot, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section below. Now let's check out this week's viewer submissions. While I'll normally feature 1 to 2 painters each week, I thought that I'd share the hobby love and share everyone's work who participated this week. This Nighthaunt Craven King is by Dave Paints, and I think it's one of the best pieces he's done yet. The blends are perfect and everything is just so clean. Great job. This Skink Star Priest is by the Honeybee Crafter, and the blends look amazing. They're especially impressive because she just got into the hobby this month. This adorable little guy is by Slappy Paints. I've always wanted to get my hands on this Blood Bowl team, and I love the subtle color shift of the tail. And from a miniature painter, we have Ben and his dinosaurs. Look at those colors, a true Seraphon player in the making. Keep up the great work, Ben. And as always, feel free to share any of your work with me, both on Instagram and Facebook at The Dry Paint Pot. I'll be picking my favorites each week and featuring them in my upcoming videos. Now wash your brushes, clean your paint pots, and keep on painting.